This is how it is going to go. We are going to have 7 days straight where we have picks that you can make with your chance to be BetTV's Betting Extraordinaire for a chance to win $25,000. If you get the first 3 questions right over the course of 3 days, you're going to win $250. If you get to day 5, you're going to win $2,500. And if you get through day 7, a week straight of correct picks, we're going to give you $25,000. No joke.
The higher-ups are yelling at me, Quan. Welcome to Who Wants to Be a Betting Extraordinaire. Carlos with the W last night on the Cardinals. It's $2,500 his way. Half of that's out of my pocket. Half of it's out of Bets TV's pocket. Look, I try to say, we really want Carlos to go far. I kind of was rooting for the Brewers in the 8th inning. I said it last show.
Let's go, Carlos.
Carlos, proven the world wrong. One of the guys that's called in regularly all summer. One of the last guys I would have picked to make it to day 6. Let's just leave it at that. But Carlos, I love you. You're on a heater. Making it a little more difficult. Look, you got a ladder up from day 1 all the way to day 7. $25,000, that's real. He's already got $2,500 in his pocket. He had about a 36.5% implied chance based on the market prices. No matter which one he really picked yesterday. Today, that goes down a little bit more. And I love the question because we're going to South Korea, KBO baseball, overnight, 2:30 a.m. We have 5 games. We're bringing on Pikachu here in a bit to break them down. He's someone that we had in studio actually earlier over the summer talking about how he saw a bigger edge in KBO this year now that everyone's eyes aren't on KBO that were last year during COVID when there was nothing else to actually bet. So he might have a few thoughts. I think it's a great question because even if you're like, well, Carlos obviously knows nothing about KBO, probably true. But I bet you he'll be up at 5 a.m. watching it. He knows nothing. Okay, well, even if they're coin flips, there's a way to figure out like a coin flip distribution that one of the options I think at least is somewhat better than the others, or there's at least one that's quite a bit worse than the other. So we'll see if Carlos can figure it out. I'm not going to share any of my thoughts until after, or if Carlos, who now coming into day 6 still has both lifelines, he can ask me as the expert. We also got Pikachu. He can break it down for free. He doesn't have to use a lifeline for that. But if he can ask me, then I'll break it down ahead of time, and then Carlos can lock in his answer. He can also ask the audience, and I'll put up a Twitter poll. It'll go all night. Before I go to bed, we'll see whatever the majority pick is. He can have some people helping him figure out distributions. Look, he's 2 picks from 25K. Everyone was rooting for him last night, actually. It was pretty fun to see random people that were sweating Carlos's game. It had no action on it. So maybe we get more of that. We'll see if Carlos wants to use either lifeline. For now, let's bring in the free lifeline. That is Pikachu. Is he through, Quan? Are we good to bring him on? Cool. What's up, man? How are you doing? I do not hear him. Do you hear him?
I do not hear him.
Pikachu, are you there? Da-na-na-na. I messaged him. Said, can't hear you. We'll see if that helps. You were hearing him before, though, you said.
Yeah.
And now you can't?
No.
Okay. We'll see. Maybe he's
Hello.
having...
There he goes.
I heard something. Are you there now?
Hello.
We got you. Can you hear us? He can't hear us. That's what he's saying. How can you not hear us? We just did this with Colin. We just did it with a few people yesterday. Do you have it on mute? All right. He says it's just completely black and he can't hear. I told him to break it down. Here's the
Oh,
question.
we on now? Oh, all right.
Yep, go for
Can't
it.
see shit. All right. So we're looking at 5 games all at 5:30. We're gonna go in rotation order here. So let's see. Hanwha at KT. KT is a small park, hitter's park, if you will, sort of like the Colorado Rockies of Korea, minus the elevation.
Uh-oh.
It's a flat country. Hanwha's putting out their rookie starting pitcher. Hasn't pitched a single game in the majors. Did okay in the minors. He was a round 1 pick last year, one of Hanwha's top pick for that ridiculously bad 2020 season. The offense on the other side is for KT is pretty good. It's kind of average. They have really good bullpen. I have no opinions on the starter. I think what happens here is that Hanwha is really always sort of like a liability to lay a complete egg, but the line at minus 220 shows you that it's expected that KT should smoke them. So over is 9. I like over here. I think KT should be able to blow him up. The Homewood bullpen used to be really, really bad, like before the Olympic break, but I think either positive variance or has just gotten better since they came back from the Olympics. But I like over 9 here. Next one, Doosan Kia. I mean, Kia's offense is just brutally bad. I mean, the weighted runs created plus is what 85.8, which is so low, just like gutterly low. I mean, there's definitely worse. Hanwha is 88 and Kia's 85. And this starting pitcher, I feel like is just complete trash. There's not a lot of data on him, but the last time he came out against Doosan, the same team that they're playing, Doosan actually only put up 1. So I don't really know about this one. At 10.5, it's kind of hard to get involved. Doosan has power bats, good offense. I make this around 10.1, 10.2. I would stay off here at 10.5. It is the summer. The weather is hot. Balls will fly. I just really don't know. Dinos, NC Dinos at Kiwoom. Dinos were the reigning champion last year. Not the case this year. The offense is great. The pitching is trash. The starter going for here, I mean, this is the classic sort of Korean starter on a good team, good environment, just very volatile, just goes up and down. He can either go out for 4 innings with 6 earned runs, or be out there for 7 innings with 1 earned run. Biggest handicap for me here is Kiwoom is in the Sky Dome. It's kind of like the Tropicana Park, Tampa Bay Rays sort of deal. I don't like laying overs here, but I think this one's a true coin flip. Open 8.5, went to 9. Carlos, man, like we're rooting for you out there. I don't know. I don't really have advice on you on this one. 8.5 to 9 to 9.5 is pretty much like the average for everything in KBO. That's where like most games lie. They finish 5 to 4, they finish 5 to 5. So this one's kind of up in the air. If I really had to pick one, I would go over. Just because the Dino's offense is really good, and Kiwoom's starter is also just one of those up and down sort of guys. I don't really have much of a take on him. Samsung LG at 7.5. Definitely staying off here. LG is the largest park in Korea. It's outdoors. Yes, it's the summer. Yes, but it's so pitcher friendly, and they have one of their aces going out. The ace for LG is a really sort of like an interesting guy. His name is Lee Ming Ho. He pitches like these slow velocity 85 to 88 breaking balls and a lot of sliders, and it's the kind of pitching repertoire that you think would just get completely blown up, but somehow he's been hanging in there the entire year. Was on the Olympic team too, so he's somehow effective. And I have no confidence in Samsung's offense to really generate much off of him. And I don't have much else here. I would just stay off. I would stay off the over here, the 7.5. The trends for like the really low totals tend to be that the market is correct. So when I was betting these a lot back in like May or June, I think whenever I took it over 7.5, it always sort of like slapped me back in the face. So I would stay off. Last one, Lotte at SSG. It's over 10.5. Again, really high total here, 10.5. But I would actually like over here. The Lotte's pitching is like complete garbage top to bottom. I mean, I don't think it gets worse in terms of the starting pitchers and the bullpen. I mean, their bullpen is averaging like 5.6 ERA or some ridiculous amount like that, and the K per BB is not there either. The starter going out is one of those guys. His last name's Park. It's one of those guys where, like I said before, if he does well, he can go really deep. But SSG has really, really good offensive weapons, including the Korean guy for the Texas Rangers, who finally burned out and went back home. I forget his name. So I think if he gets smoked early on, if he only goes like 4 to 5 innings, and the Lotte bullpen is going to take over, I mean, that bodes extremely well for taking overs. And on the other side, the SSG pitcher is just another average dude. There's nothing to write about there. Not good control, high BB per 9, 5.5 FIP, 5.5 ERA. So I think you can really expect like a good 5 to 6 runs solid from both of these sides. I'm actually kind of surprised that SSG is a dog in this because Lotte's offense and pitching. Lotte's pitching is so bad that I just don't see how they're a dog here at home. So I have two definitely. That's Han1 and KT over 9, and Lotte and SSG over 10.5. And the Dino's Kiwoom one is really just, it's 9, flip a coin. I would go for 2 personally. If you want to believe the weather hypothesis in terms of like it's hot and it's September, it's not that humid in Korea. Take the over. But look, man, we're all rooting for you. You're 2 days away from the big prize. I would hate to tell you confidently one way or the other and then have it blow up in your face. I think the answer is 2 or 3, just based on what you want to go with. I think the other 2, 0 to 1 and 4 to 5 is a little bit too rich for my taste. But good luck, man. Everybody's praying for you.
Prayers, thoughts, and prayers. All right, a couple of things. One, the low, secret, mystifying voice works for this high stakes, betting extraordinaire show. I should probably get the same voice effect for mine. Yeah. 2, he actually did text me, Carlos, before, and he's like, man, I'm actually feeling the pressure. I feel like I'm responsible for Carlos's livelihood here. So he went through every game. There were 2 that he actually thought were worthwhile overs. This is what's interesting. You really need to handicap every single one. Maybe you have a lean that I actually like unders in a few, or I like overs in a few, and then make your decision. But even if you're just treating them like coin flips, I think there's at least a way to look at it that is the optimal way. Has Carlos called in yet?
No.
I'm not sure. If VMix is not working on their end, we might need him to try to call the phone line. We'll get Carlos in here. We'll find out his answer. But Carlos, feel free. The line is open now. Give it a whirl. And remember, you have 2 lifelines, and I'm happy to break it down how I would break it down personally, if you would like. Or you can wait, save it for day 7. Yeah.
Let's talk about the last time Carlos got 5 bets in a row correct.
These are outside of the first 2 days. The last 3 are small underdogs, or even a bigger underdog, like a 36.5%er yesterday. So, it not only is it 5 straight, but if you were to roll them over, it's, with 3 that have been underdogs of the 5. And the first one that was a favorite was, minus 130 maybe, but he's minus 125, that Astros run line. It wasn't a huge favorite anyway. So, yeah, he's definitely, it's hard to win 5 straight, especially when 3 are dogs. Now, this is also a dog. Hey, I hear some noise. Carlos, do you hear us?
What's up?
You hear us?
I can hear you guys. Can you hear,
all right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good. I was worried because you didn't call last show. Did you need to save your bathroom break for betting extraordinaire?
Yeah, I had to. You hit me with the KBO. I was like, whoa.
He's been
I
studying.
knew a little bit about KBO because of the pandemic. I bet
you do.
Between that and ping pong and horse racing.
Table tennis was fire for a while.
Yeah.
Quan wasn't betting it, but I guarantee if Quan was betting in the pandemic, he would have been clicking live buttons at 1 a.m. because he was bored following Flash Score on the side. Look, we've all done it.
Yeah.
It's okay. This is a safe place. Carlos, the question's pretty straightforward. Pikachu is just on. He actually likes 2 of the overs. He basically thinks 3 he wouldn't bother with. So you'd have to make this assumption, though. How many of these go over? 0 or 1. 2, 3 as their own individual options, and then 4 or 5 as a combo answer as well. What?
2 lifelines.
Man,
in 2 lifelines.
Yeah.
Quan wanted me to remind you, you do have those if you want to use them.
I haven't used a lifeline, and I've gotten as far without a lifeline.
Oh,
I'm just gonna.
You don't get paid extra if you don't take the lifelines home, Carlos.
I know.
So you know.
I know. I'm going to say 3. 3.
All right. So you need 3, and I need to clarify, just so there's no confusion, there is a decent amount of money on the line now. 3 have to go over. Earlier when I set this question up, one of the games was a whole number. The Hanwha KT was 9. Since then, the NC Kawoom total moved from 8.5 to 9. So now there are 2 that are theoretically could push. Those don't count as
Okay.
overs. I just want to make it clear.
Right.
If
Right.
they go 4-1, you're good, right? But if it's like 3-1-1, you're right. You win that one. Pushes don't count as overs. Just wanted to make sure it's clear. If it's 2-2-1 push, you're going to lose. The push doesn't count as a win. Just wanted to walk it through for everyone so there's no questions. But there's now with 2 games out of the 5 that could land on 9. There's at least some sort of percent, but it does. So Carlos,
Preston,
yeah.
can I ask a question? Can you give me the totals for each game again? The ones that each total.
You need to
for
know
each
why
game?
you're setting your alarm and what you're sweating in the morning. Look, you need a lot of runs. You need a little more runs
Right.
than not. It's interesting, but the first game, they're all at 2:30 a.m. Pacific, so 5:30 a.m. they all
Right.
start. And the first one is Hanwha KT. That's 9. The Doosan
Okay.
Kia KIA is 10.5. The NC Kawum game is the one that moved up to 9, so now that's also getting graded at 9, which benefits
Okay.
you at least that there was some movement up. Someone likes over in that game, so maybe that's the third one that cashes for you. The other game, Samsung LG, is 7.5, and then the last one, Lotte SSG, is one Pikachu liked over 10.5.
So the last one's 10.5.
Yes, the Lotte SSG.
All right, hold on. I'm thinking
You got
now.
time. All is well.
It's your show, Carlos.
Hey, listen, I want to shout out to all the people who showed me love last night. I appreciate it. I was sweating, man. I'm telling you. Woo.
Were you watching live?
I
when
didn't even
Colton
watch
Wong
the
hit
game.
that hit? You didn't watch it. Okay.
I did. You know what? I went in the house. You have to do husband duties, so I had to
Yes.
watch Bachelor in Paradise. You know what I mean? And I
Some
was
of us
looking at
choose
my
to watch
phone. I saw
Bachelor in Paradise over sports sometimes. It's okay, Carlos. You can admit
and
it.
listen,
Happy wife, happy
I
life.
saw the Orioles lose to the Phillies the way they lost, and I'm like, oh my god, the way the Orioles lost, I'm like, oh boy. I saw your tweet about the ball hitting the top of the fence. I said, oh boy, but we got it done. So
Look, Wong when he hit it thought it was out. He did one of those like
Right.
stairs, drops the bat, scoots out. Everyone thought it was out. Somehow it didn't go out, and he almost got thrown out at second because he was staring at it for so long. And the guy at first thought it was out, barely got to third. Like, it was a very weird play that somehow could have tied the game. Also, could have been thrown out. And anyway, you pulled out. It worked out. Well done, Carlos. We'll lock you in. If you have questions about the totals or whatever, DM me. We can make sure it's all straight ahead. After you hang up, I'm going to break it down. I'm going to tell you what I would pick. All right. We'll talk to you later.
cool. Thank you.
See ya. So let's start at the beginning. How would you figure out, if you know nothing about KBO, what the optimal choice is? There's 4. You can put the question back up so people can see it as we talk it through. If, let's assume, these were all 50-50 results, like a heads or tails flip, if you were flipping a coin 5 times, the probabilities of each of these, option A, so 0 or 1, sweeping or having 1 go, is the same as D. The probability of B and C, the same. And the probabilities are actually 18.75% for A and D, and then 31.25% for B and C. So obviously 31.25, a lot bigger than 18.75%. The correct answer should be B or C. You can immediately eliminate A or D. And by the way, this is a little bit different. It's a little more nuanced because now there's 2 options that are not an exact coin flip. They can push on 9. So the chances of actually going 5-0 because of pushes, you're not going to, if there's a push on one of those 2 games on 9, you can't go 5-0 over. There's a push in there. So some of that equity in option D actually gets shuffled and distributed down to C, to B, to A. And now you can go, 4 unders and a push and 0 wins, or 3 unders and 2 pushes and 0 wins. So A is definitely a lot better option than D once you actually think through the push rates. But 2 and 3 are the exact same. So that's the answer. Now, Pikachu said those are what he would go with. It's right. Carlos is going to go with 3, which now, having seen the market move a little bit, on one of those that moved from 8.5 to 9. The fact Pikachu actually likes 2 overs. Look, if 2 and 3 are theoretically equal with the market, with Pikachu's insight, 3 might be slightly better than 2. So 31 to say 33, 34% chance Carlos is playing for $25K tomorrow. Quan, did you get what I just kind
I
of
have no
broke down?
idea what you
No?
said. All I heard was 1, 2, 3 A, B, D, C, and it's
There's a couple people still listening.
31%.
If you got it, it's not too tough.
Yeah,
You can Google like coin
either-
flipping
it's either B or C.
distributions, and
basically that's
the point is like, what are the odds that if you were to flip 5 coins, that heads lands 0 or 1 time? It's the same thing. If you're just now, it changes a little bit because of the push equity in some of these KBO games, but not a ton. But the point was D was like absolutely the worst now with 2 potential games that could push. A's a little better than D, and then B and C. One of those had to be his pick. I would have been upset if he went with A or D. So I'm glad he did not for that sake. And anyway, I thought it was a fun question. But day 7 tomorrow, if he wins, and these go 3 and 2 to the over. Excuse me. It can go 3-1 and 1, 3-0 and 2, whatever. It's 3 games need to go over. We're going to go football. It's going to be really hard. He's not going to be likely to win day 7, clearly. It's a $25,000 free roll for the guy. Actually, we haven't ever said this live or publicly. And then we got Steam Warning coming up in half an hour, so we got to prep for that. We got some stuff to do. I'm going to wrap up the show in just a minute. But Carlos, if you're still listening, if you win today, you can just start mulling it over, marinate till tomorrow. You have $2,500 in your pocket. Tomorrow, for day 7 of Who Wants to Be a Betting Extraordinaire, we're timing out, long show. If you want to cash out before you get the day 7 question for $5,000, you can do that.
Ooh.
You either play for $25K, minimum $2,500 in your pocket, or you can just take an extra $2,500 and take $5K. So you have time, think about it. It's a cash out option on day 7s. If not, it will be football related. We have an NFL game and a college football game tomorrow night. We'll have an expert, maybe even 2 on, help break it down as much as we can. Quan's excited. That was actually his idea. Thought it was good. Let's offer him an extra $2,500 with their chance to win an extra $22,500. $2,500, $22,500. Sit on it. You never know. I know what I would do.
Take the money.
But I can't give you the question first. You have to make the decision before you get the question. So if it, you immediately are like, take the money.
Always take the money.
You're basically risking $2,500 to win $22,500. So unless I make the question like ridiculously hard, which it might be.
Panthers versus Texans. I don't like anything in this game.
Side, total, maybe side and total. Look, parlay might be in the mix. You got to hit a parlay to cash the $25K. Maybe there's props in there. I don't know. I got to devise it. My brain will be running wild and rampant tonight. All right, let's close this up. But Carlos, cash out on the table if you win tonight, overnight, tomorrow morning, really. KBO. Good luck, brother. Just kidding. I found myself actually rooting against you in the 8th inning with the Brewers last night. Everyone else is rooting for you, too. I love that. Thanks for everyone that played, called in. Last word, Cheetah. Betting Extraordinaire. Thanks, Pikachu. Colin Wilson. Last but not least, Right Angle Sports releasing a college football pick in 30 minutes on Steam Morning here at Bets TV.